So many topics to cover in this great city of Los Angeles. Who better to talk to than Mayor Eric Garcetti? Mayor Garcetti, thanks so much for joining us on this rainy Monday. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
So let's first get to COVID. You have said that any LA City employee who doesn't get the vaccine should be prepared to lose their job. So how are those numbers going?
Well, the good news is we have over 3/4 of all of our city employees vaccinated. And I know the stories often say, oh, firefighters and police officers aren't. Actually, the overwhelming majority in both of those departments and all of our departments are people who recognize that our first responsibility is saving lives. And certainly I, as mayor, will never apologize for saving lives. The tens of thousands of people that are probably alive today because of good things that we've done. And because we interact with the public, we need to do that. And we need to accept that it's 11 times more likely that you will die if you're not vaccinated. So we've given people time now to say, yes, I will. Give me 8 weeks to go through the cycle. And by December 18th to be fully vaccinated. But I want to thank those employees that have already done it, encourage those moving forward. And it is a condition of your employment. But my goal is not to lose a single employee, but to have everybody vaccinated and to have everybody employed.
All right, 3/4 is pretty good so far. Okay, yep. Something not so pleasant. Let's talk about Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas. He has pleaded not guilty to federal corruption charges. So what is your reaction?
It's heartbreaking, Ellen. I mean, I've witnessed the incredible work of Mark Ridley Thomas. He's somebody who I've worked with on the fight against homelessness. I've seen his caring at the street level when no cameras are around. And he's been an exceptional public servant. I'm also the son of a prosecutor, though. And, actions have responsibilities. And while I want to be clear, this didn't happen and these accusations did not happen at City Hall. If they occurred, they were with the county and at USC. If somebody has broken the law, they have to be prepared to pay the consequences. So stepping back from that work and suspending that work is the right move right now for Mr. Ridley Thomas and for the council that took that action.
Well, you've been a city leader for some time now, and besides Ridley Thomas and the allegations against him, we have Englander, Weezer, former Deputy Raymond Chan. How can there be more transparency so these behind closed door deals can't be made?
It's really disturbing. As somebody who's dedicated 20 years of sacrifice in my life to public service, and a handful of people can sully that. I think we need to make sure, as we've done, you cannot donate from land use projects to people who are elected officials. We have to make sure that people have radical transparency, that there aren't conversations that can happen in private, as we've now banned too. But I've also learned if people want to do bad things, they'll figure out a way to do it, which is why we do rely on prosecutors. We do rely on the criminal justice system. Everybody deserves due process. But for me, I'm a person who said more sunshine will always let the way in. And I hope that the example of those recent convictions will send a clear message to people that you're not just messing things up for you, you are messing things up for this entire city and sullying the reputation of everyone.
Yeah. Let's talk about the firefighters. Los Angeles female firefighters are speaking out about what they say is a failure to address rampant racism and sexism within the department, even asking Chief Terrazas to step down. So you've said you'd bring much needed change to the culture of the department. What has been done so far?
I'm very proud. When I came in, we didn't have any advertising, any recruitment of female firefighters. I set a big goal to try to double the number, and we've already gone 50% of the way of increasing the number of female firefighters. But I take very seriously any allegations, whether it's of racism or sexism, assault, of any hostile work environment. And I expect the fire chief and everybody else to follow that as well. So I think we've begun to change that culture. As it changes, sometimes the things that come out have to be addressed immediately, to have zero tolerance. That's my expectation, and the expectation of the next mayor. I kind of unearthed this because for a long time it had gone unsaid and unspoken about. But any firefighter, whether it's an African-American firefighter, a woman who doesn't feel that the firehouse is his or her home, that is something that's on all of us to fix. So I'm proud of that progress, but I think we still have some ways to go. And until I'm here, my very last day, I'm going to make sure everyone feels welcome at LAFT.
Wonderful.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel. And download the ABC7 Los Angeles streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV.